You know, there's a secret war happening inside your house right now. Seriously. It's this epic battle between our sophisticated technology and just raw, relentless nature. And the front line of that war? It's right in the heart of your home comfort system. So, why is it that a desert climate just absolutely wrecks air conditioners? I mean, these are the very machines we need to survive in those places, right? It's a fantastic question, and that's exactly what we're going to unpack here. So, let's dive in and see what's really going on.
All right, here's our game plan. First, we're going to meet the enemy, the climate itself. Then we'll look inside the walls to see the actual damage. We'll cover the warning signs to watch for, figure out your options when things go wrong, and finally get some simple rules to actually win this thing in the long run.
Okay, first things first. To really get what's happening, you have to understand the battlefield. And in places like Beaumont, California, that battlefield is brutal. It's a land of extremes, and those extremes are putting our machines through the ultimate stress test. And we're not talking about just a random heat wave. Oh no. This is weeks, even months, where the temperature doesn't just hit 100 degrees, it lives there. For your air conditioner, there is no off-season. It's just a 6-month-long marathon with no finish line. And get this, after being baked all day, the desert night comes and the temperature can plummet by 40 degrees, sometimes even more. Can you imagine that swing? This constant massive expansion and contraction puts an incredible amount of physical stress on every single part of the machine. We're talking metal, plastic, the delicate little seals, everything. Now, if you think it's hot outside, just take a look inside an attic. It can get up to 140 degrees in there. Your attic literally becomes an oven, just slowly baking all the sensitive electronic components of your HVAC system that are often installed right up in there. This quote really hits the nail on the head. I mean, these machines are built tough, sure, but they're engineered for typical conditions. And the high desert is anything but typical. It pushes these systems way past their design limits, which, as you can guess, creates a whole new world of problems. So, what does this constant attack actually do to the machine? What kind of damage are we really talking about, day in and day out? Well, here's the real cost of that fight, laid out plain and simple. A system that could easily last 20 years in a mild climate is lucky to make it 12 to 15 years in the high desert. That is a huge drop in lifespan, all because of where it lives. And, of all the parts getting hammered by the heat, there's one tiny component that fails more than any other. It might be small, but it is absolutely critical. It's called the capacitor. The easiest way to think about it is like the starter for a car engine. It delivers that big, powerful jolt of energy to get the motor spinning. Without that initial kick, well, the whole system just sits there, completely dead in the water. And here is the crucial point. That nonstop baking we talked about, it just destroys these capacitors. A part that should last for a decade somewhere else might only survive 3 to 5 years in the desert. It really is the system's weakest link in this environment. But the capacitor isn't the only casualty. You've got the desert wind, which is constantly blowing dust and dirt into the system, clogging everything up, forcing it to work harder. That same wind causes vibrations that can lead to tiny, really hard-to-find refrigerant leaks. And remember those wild temperature swings? They can even mess with older thermostats, making them less accurate and throwing everything off. Now, a system under this much stress doesn't just quit silently. It starts sending out distress signals, cries for help. And if you know what to listen for, you can catch a major failure before it happens. So what are those signals? What are the things you might see or hear or even feel that should tell you, hey, my HVAC unit is in trouble? All right, let's break it down. First, just listen. Are there any new, strange noises, like a grinding or a squealing? Next, pay attention to the air coming out of your vents. Does it feel kind of weak? Is the system turning on and off all the time? And a big one, check your energy bill. A sudden spike is a huge red flag that your system is working way too hard. Finally, just notice, are some rooms just not as comfortable as they used to be? All of these are clues that something is wrong. So, when you do spot these signs, you've got a really big decision on your hands. Do you pay to repair it? Or is it finally time to replace the whole thing? Here is a super handy rule of thumb that can help you decide. It's called the $5,000 rule. It's pretty simple. Just take the age of your system in years and multiply that by the cost of the repair. If that number is more than 5,000, it's probably smarter to start looking at a new system. So for example, let's say your unit is 12 years old and you're facing a $500 repair. Well, 12 times 500, that's 6,000. So according to this rule, yeah, that's a clear signal it might be time for a replacement. And hey, if you do call in a professional, you should know what to expect. It should always start with a quick and accurate diagnosis. Then, a quality repair, using the right parts. And it should always end with the technician verifying that the system is running perfectly and giving you clear paperwork on what they did. Okay, so making the right call on repairs is one thing. But what if you want to get ahead of the game? How can you actually help your system win this long, drawn-out war? Well, it turns out there are a few simple but really. First up, the 3-minute rule. This is a big one. After your AC shuts off, you need to wait at least 3 minutes before you turn it back on. Why? Well, that pause lets the pressure inside the system equalize. If you restart it too soon, you put a massive strain on the compressor. That's the heart of the system, and you can do some serious damage. Now, this one is huge, and a lot of people just don't think about it. In an average home, a whopping 20 to 40% of the air you are paying to cool never even makes it into your rooms. It just leaks out of your ductwork. Sealing those ducts is one of the single most effective things you can do. It takes a huge load off your system, and you will save a ton of money on your energy bills.
So, at the end of the day, it really comes down to this. In a tough climate, your HVAC system isn't just an appliance, it's a lifeline, and it is fighting a battle for you every single day. The real question is, are you giving it the support it needs to actually win?